Hey everyone, I just finished watching the interview I conducted with Cam Newton right after he was introduced to the media at the 2011 NFL Draft when he was the first pick of the Carolina Panthers. I was right up front and asked him the first two questions. How do you feel and what's going through your mind? And he was relieved, and I think later he said he said what he wanted to really do, he couldn't do, which is just to scream. But something else that I forgot about the interview was, I didn't forget what happened to him that led up to the questions in the interview about the level of racism he experienced, the form of doubters. Let me be more specific. Cam Newton was allegedly involved in a kind of a scandal involving theft of something or other, but he was cleared. And even though he was cleared, there were some people in the media who couldn't get over the fact that he overcame that accusation and went on to gain a Heisman Trophy and then be a national champion with Auburn, even though he was national champion prior to that at the Division 1AA level and the Division 1A level. Cam Newton is an amazing performer, amazing athlete. So, but because of all of this combined, there was a horrendously, terribly, awfully bad, racist effort to put out as much negative stuff about him as possible in the hopes that the Carolina Panthers, which had the number one pick, wouldn't draft him and instead pick Blaine Gabbert, who is now the quarterback with the San Francisco 49ers. There was one article on USA Today by Jim Gabbert, who I know, and whose work I generally liked. I didn't like this one, though, and I was quite surprised it was Jim, which, in trying to question Cam Newton's readiness for the NFL, compared him to every black quarterback that failed without mentioning that they were black quarterbacks. He used the names and didn't mention they were black quarterbacks. Like, for example, Donovan McNabb. And the worst was Akili Smith. In other words, Akili was black from Oregon, high pick first round, number one, didn't do well. Mention of Akili Smith took up a fair portion of Jim's article. And then the real kicker for me personally as a football strategy aficionado was when Jim said that Blaine Gabbert played in a pro-style system when in point of fact he played in a spread offense, not a pro-style system. That's one of many other examples I can pull of articles written about Cam Newton or statements made about him on television that were designed to destroy him. If it wasn't that, it was Mike Mayock from the NFL Network saying that Cam Newton lacked heart. And Deion Sanders on NFL Network said, how do you question a man's heart? How do you know that? It was really a terrible thing to do. And if it wasn't that, then there were others who basically were saying, hey, he doesn't seem like, well, basically were insinuating he wasn't smart enough to play quarterback. Cam Newton got all of that. But to his credit, he smiled. And when he played, he perfected his signature style of celebration and his way that is flamboyant and demonstrative and very much a symbol of classic black culture and our desire to let you know that we are in the moment. There are people who didn't like that, didn't want to see it. And Cam knew it, so he sort of kept doing it. But instead of practicing that and making that the central part of who he is, Cam Newton made his performance on the field the central part of who he is. I said last year that, early last year, that Cam Newton could be the next Peyton Manning if offensive coordinator Mike Shula would basically take off the shackles, and no pun intended, and let him throw. I was so livid with the way Mike Shula handled Cam Newton that I made a video saying that Mike Shula should be fired. Of course he shouldn't. Maybe Mike Shula saw that video because he turned around and last year completely altered how he instructed Cam Newton to approach a game. It wasn't just running. The running was complemented with an excellent set of pass plays, short, medium, and long, with great, in some cases, ingenious play-action pass designs. So Mike Shula really altered his approach to Cam Newton and unlocked Cam Newton's potential and made Cam Newton the MVP quarterback he was this season. But the bottom line is, through all of this, Cam Newton has done nothing but get better. I have said that Cam Newton is one of the smartest people ever to play, because at one point between 2009 and 2011, he grasped 3 different offenses, excelled at each one of them to the point where he was national champion, and then was headed to the NFL, where he set a rookie record in terms of passing yards. Amazing stuff. And then, first of all, ignoring, as he said in my video interview at the NFL draft, ignoring the critics, the naysayers, because they're going to do what they have to do, and saying to others, I have a job to do, and in concentrating on doing that job, as Bill Belichick says, do your job. Cam Newton has just altered American society. He has made it A-okay for someone black as a quarterback to essentially not try to be someone other than themselves if they're like Cam Newton. Not try to rein themselves in, but make sure, above all, that their play on the field is excellent. And also, off the field, really contribute to the community, which he does in the connecting the on the field with the off the field when he gives the footballs to the kids in the stands nearby. That's really great. And the smiles on the faces of those kids, priceless. Absolutely priceless. I hope he does that at the Super Bowl. I really do. I think he will. There are a number of people, myself included, who would love to see Peyton Manning win and get a ring. But I have to tell you, my desire for Cam Newton to win and get a ring is equal, because of what Cam has experienced being black, which is similar to what I and anyone else who's African American and male has had to endure. Cam Newton fought through a lot of crap to be where he is and should be applauded. I can think of very few people, who deserve what he has gotten other than himself, and what he is potentially going to get at this coming Super Bowl, the 50th Super Bowl of the National Football League.